Welcome, gamers. It is in fact Monday. We're back. It's actually not Monday. Why did I think it was Monday? Oh, it's because I didn't stream on Monday. It's actually Wednesday. That's right. Rare case of me saying the wrong day because it's actually Wednesday. Welcome Stream Elements. Welcome Duck. Welcome Foley. Welcome Tub of Insects. Nutritious. Duck. Namai. JD. And Eduardo. It may have found a bug where the timer ticks another second after solving a puzzle. Maybe. I think that isn't that intentional. Wouldn't it make sense for me to round up to the nearest? Actually, I don't know. Maybe not. Does it only happen in some cases? I feel like that's fine, right? 1 second. Surely no one cares about that 1 second. 1 second. Anyway. I'm now going to work on my game. That's right. We have some bugs to fix. I'm even gonna tweet this. You know, I don't usually tweet that I'm going live. I'm gonna post it on Blue Sky because I did get a bunch of followers on Blue Sky, and Blue Sky does have a thing where you can say that you're going live. It's like there's a live thing. Why doesn't Twitter have this? Welcome, lots of butts. Actually, I should have added a puzzle to the game that was a bug, right? You could have had like a beetle or like a worm. Actually, a worm is not a bug. It could have like a pill bug. I don't know. Maybe in the next one. Maybe in Walfie's Nonograms too. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to tweet that I'm going live. And by tweet, I mean Blue Sky. What are they called? Posts? Fixing some bugs in Walfie's Nonograms. Whoa, what the heck? http://https. It's gotta be secure. Twitch.tv/Walfas. That's right, there it is. And then it posts the thing, and then I do the pill bugs. Are also not bugs. What the frick? What are they? What if you added a puzzle only accessible if you break the game? No. Thank you, Deep Freeze, welcome. Watch someone stream the first 50 puzzles. They did 50 puzzles in one stream. If you did another one, would it be hard to come up with? Yes, because by the end of it, I was running out of ideas. Did not know what to do. Welcome, Panis. Okay, I'm posting this link, and then I'm gonna go on Twitter as well here, and then click on this button right there, posted. And then Blue Sky, you gotta do a manual thing, right? You gotta click on a thing to say you're going live, go live, and then I post the link right there, and then it's this, and then you could tell it how long you're gonna be live for, and then I click on 3 hours. 3 hours right there, go live. Does that send a notification to people? I don't even know. Anyway, can we check the itch.io? Itch.io, Walfie's no. Look at all the comments. It's also retro achievements. Retro achievements, thanks very much to Hexadigital for adding the retro achievements. I'm gonna have to turn on my VPN probably. But then you get to track people's information. You could be like, whoa, look, people are playing this. Retro achievements doesn't think I'm human. Why is this? Oh, why is this not open in its own page? How do I open this on its own page? What is this? Why is this embedded inside like a frame? Welcome, Yuriko. Thank you for 44 months. That is in fact many months. I can middle click it. Welcome, ChocoJax. Alright, so remember when I said I don't think people will speedrun the game, in the sense that I feel like speedrunning a Picross game is kind of like not really in the spirit of Nonograms. You would kind of just be like copying an image that you've already solved. People do that actually. It turns out that people do that. And people do for some reason care about that. Thank you, ChocoJax and Namai for the resubscriptions. That is many months. Anyone post their artificial hype train right now? But yes, this is spoilers by the way. This is the thing about retro achievements. I think the achievements have images, and those images are spoilers for puzzles. It's not like on Steam where it's like you get a question mark. But we will not look at those, okay? But then if you look at the leaderboards, for every level you get to see the fastest time that someone did it. And this one guy is CFF person. Just been like, I guess that maybe not just him, other people. You can't possibly get 24 seconds on this unless you like already knew the image. Right, so I guess the people have just been going through all of them, just like copying like what they know the solution to be. I don't know, well that's a thing. People apparently do that. But you know, you get to see who's playing the game. Look at all these people playing the game 1 minute ago. It incentivizes just memorizing the puzzle and inputting it. That's pretty much what it is. People are crazy fast. There's no way that you would solve this puzzle in 24 seconds unless you already knew the answer. But you get to see, like, you know, how long it takes people on average. Median 12 hours and 36 minutes median. You get to see, I mean, I guess if you click in, you get to see like people who are not just trying to get the fastest time. You can see like how long they would normally take, right? Maybe like, you know, a good distribution of times. Maybe like 3 minutes. I would say this is probably like a realistic playthrough. Welcome, thank you. You go for the 100 bits. So there's like some that are hard, right? Puzzle number, what was it, like 30? People had trouble with 30. Best time, welcome props on Jack. This is not a representative sample. Yes. Now look, some people, okay, there's like, you know, various times here. But I guess it is a sample of people who care about achievement. This is for the nerds and geeks who want the Chivos. That is true. But you know, many of these people are playing casually, you know? Look at this. What about puzzle number 149? Right? It's like realistic. You look at these times. And I had to do nothing, okay? I didn't do anything for this. But I guess I did, like when I was streaming Hexadigital rated, I was like, here's what the in-memory structs look like, which probably helped. People who didn't walk away to get a water mid-puzzle, you could probably pause in-game, right? The time is a bit fast for some of the later puzzles. For first go. Well, I feel like some of the later puzzles are actually easier than the early ones. Anyway, me when I play in browser, I feel like most people don't even know that retro achievements is a thing. Look at all the comments. Look at the comments from people. Someone noticed I didn't have sound effects, and I said no. Not, and then people, you know, people mentioned some things. Someone thought the 5x5 layout was a bit pointless, having buttons on the side, and I was like, hey, you know this is based on Mario's Picross, right? Not everyone knows. Other questions? I replied to everything. Literally replied to everything. Welcome, Bobtron. But anyway, bugs that I'm aware exist. I'm preparing the next patch. Not patch, but like the next version. Welcome, Hamplo. And the thing about releasing a Game Boy game, unlike releasing a Godot game where I just like, as soon as I'm done fixing a bug, I'll release a version. For this one, I feel like I can't really do that. Like I could, but then it would be just a very fragmented experience where some people have like ROM version 0. Sorry, ROM version 1.0.0. Some people have like 1.1.0. And then if I update it, then like Hexadigital has to update the retro achievements because like it depends on memory addresses and stuff like that. So I gotta like group things together. You know, if this were a real Game Boy cartridge, you would not be able to fix the bugs. Right? It would just exist and the bug would just be there. And then maybe later down the line you could re-release with a different version. That stuff probably doesn't happen that often. But anyway. things that are going to be changed, okay? Things that are different that I'm aware of, that I have updated at the moment. Diagonal input. So I don't know, I feel like most people don't care. I personally also didn't care because I was like, who's going to be using diagonal input? If I'm using diagonal input, I'm probably just like trying to go to the top right corner or the top left corner or something. Right? I feel most people don't notice. I feel like if you're trying to do precise movement, you're probably not using diagonal inputs. But I guess some people do. Also, thank you, Xtag, for 17 months. But I fixed that in an unreleased version. Okay, we'll check it out. So here's the new. Oh, this is spoilers, but look at this. It's much smoother. Much smoother. I did realize the way I implemented it is not the best, but it's better now. And also there's another thing where now if you hold down, hold on, let me go to a larger puzzle. I should wait. Hold on. Oh, wait. Spoiler. Can I like load up a new version of the game without my save date, so that people don't get spoiled? Oh, whatever. Let's do this one. So here's the thing. If you hold down and you like press up, in the current version of the game, actually I could just show this in the browser version. Check this out. Come here. Oh, hold on. I don't know why, like in the browser, sometimes it's like flickering. It's probably my zoom level. I don't know, but it's a bit weird. Anyway, you give up and you check out the current version. Okay, if you try to do diagonal inputs, sometimes you see that right there. It was not exactly diagonal. Sometimes it like repeats. You would expect if I held down diagonally, I would go right here. Right? It would go straight line. Sometimes it like, look at that, it ended up there. It doubled the input. Sometimes it's fine, but there, look at this, now it's like above, right? Now it's above. Now in the current version, it is actually correct. It's actually correct. But then also, if you have one of the buttons held down, and you go up, it will move very fast. Right? A note when I like changed here and I went up, sometimes it would go multiple spaces, so it's hard to be precise. Like check this out. Okay, that one's fine, but then if I like did this, sometimes it goes up like 2 spaces. Can't really get it to do. Maybe I'm just too perfect at my inputs. But sometimes if you just like hold, if you like tap down, it'll like go up multiple spaces. Okay, maybe not on the web version, maybe, I don't know. I was encountering this before. See, look at this, now it went down twice, right? So now this one, if you have it held down, it will actually do a short delay. When you're changing directions at the moment, if you have it held down, it'll just go really fast. It's hard to do precise things, but this one, do you notice that it slowed down for a brief moment there? Right, kind of like the first time you hold down a button, it stops at the first one and then it goes if you continue holding it. Now the same thing goes if you do this. It's slow. It's slightly slow. Welcome, Muffin. Yeah, but that will ruin people who are trying to speed run the game. Okay, I'm sure that people who really care about getting their speed run times, they're gonna stay on patch 1.0. Because like there's not that delay. But I'm not gonna optimize the game for those people. This is objectively, in my opinion, a better experience. Anyway, Xtag, you change your color. You selected a color. I'm used to your name being red in this chat. Fragmenting the leaderboard. Look, if they care, they can stick with it. But it might also be better because like it's more accurate, you know? It's not that much slower, surely. Okay, and then other changes. Besides improved diagonal movement, I want to match my cool fish icon, the Roblox one. I also, okay, this is a thing that I didn't know was a thing. I thought that the Analog Pocket could just natively play Game Boy ROMs. It turns out even with one of those, you either need like some custom firmware or something, or you need to have a flash card. Apparently, I can just load .pocket files. And I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna make some changes because I have a bunch of assumptions. And then apparently you can just test it in this emulator. I was like, I don't even have an analog pocket, how am I supposed to test this? But apparently it's pretty easy. You can just export a Game Boy game using a bunch of different flags. And there are some platform differences, such as different registers, but I don't think I like use any of these specific addresses. Like, I stream on Debian? No, I stream on Windows. I'm using Debian subsystem for Linux. You're supposed to rip your own games. There's an unauthorized firmware to just play ROMs. I see. That makes sense. But yeah, you can just export, you can set a bunch of flags to export a pocket file. So I updated my scripts because I had a bunch of places where I was assuming I was only exporting a GBC file. So now I export two of them, 2 files. And I can also run it. Check this out. We can run, instead of run emulator pocket. And then build it for pocket. It's exactly the same. I don't know why. I guess maybe, yeah, I guess because, okay, because if you have a Game Boy ROM, here's an interesting thing. You're required, if you want to play it on a real Game Boy, you need to have the Nintendo logo. You'll know, like, when you start up your Game Boy, there's like the Game Boy logo comes down, right? That's part of the ROM itself. It's part of the cartridge. And that's to prevent people from making like bootleg games or whatever. Because like, if you use the Nintendo logo in your game, they could sue you. They could sue you. Welcome Prod, Zapod, and Aaron. Yes, I made this game. Was it with GB Studio? No, it was not. It was GBDK. Anyway, I guess maybe that's what the pocket file is that so that you don't have to include the Nintendo logo in your game. That's probably why they have a different format. Yeah, I guess, yeah, okay. So in the analog pocket, if you want a native pocket file, they have a different logo. And I guess that's what the difference is. Anyway, so there's that. We can export pocket files now. Previous timeline, if it was with GB Studio, it was not. Anyway, so now this is here. It runs the same. I don't really have an analog pocket to test on, so I don't really know if this works on real hardware. But I would assume it does. I have no reason to believe that it would be significantly different. Welcome Namington. Okay, so we have pocket file export. This was also a thing that was suggested. I don't know if this matters for many people, but Xtag mentioned it. I think he was the only one to mention it. And I was like, do people really care? But I decided I might just do it anyway. Is that if you play the game and you, let's for example, if you mute the audio in the main menu and you mute the audio in this settings, if you finish a level, it will still play the victory sound. And I feel like if this was a traditional Game Boy game, this would not matter because there's a volume slider on the Game Boy. So I was just like, well, you could just, you know, just mute it in your emulator or your real Game Boy. But I was like, it's pretty easy to just mute it. But I don't know if like people expect that though, right? Do you expect that if you mute the BGM here, like for example, if you like finish this, even though you have BGM off, it still plays? Right? Maybe some people don't expect that. Victory sound is also delayed when the BGM is off. Is it? I don't know, maybe. I didn't notice. But anyway, now I think in the latest version, I don't know if people care about this. What if I, like, here's the thing. I did not ask anyone if they cared. Like, what if there are people that are like, wait, I wanted music. I wanted the BGM to play even though BGM off. But in the current version that I have that's going to be released, if you have muted the BGM in your title screen and in this setting, then we will not play the victory sound. I also care, okay, well now it'll matter. And the reason why I did that, instead of just if you have it muted here, because like the thing is, if you have it muted here, but you also have music here enabled, it wouldn't really matter because once you go back to this screen, music will be playing anyway. So like, you know, so now I'm like, if you have both muted, that's when I don't play it. Right, that's my thought process. It might be a bit non-obvious. You can always save revision if you release a physical version. True. I mean, it does tag your releases. I don't think there's a way to download old versions in your browser. You'd have to like download the itch.io app. I don't know. Anyway. Only happens when you're in a level for a prolonged period of time, I see. Or maybe that's a thing. Anyway, other changes. Fixing diagonals. Lock move direction. Pocket file. I added a delay. You only have one option for browser. You can have old versions you want for download. Well, yeah, for the browser, but I don't think you can download because I have vacuous sugar requests, right? Remember Walfie.itch.io said vacuous sugar requests. You have to go to the app to download old versions, I think. Oh, see, okay, just download. It just downloads the latest version. And there are older versions. Anyway, but you'd have to download them somewhat over. But also, you could also see the versions I uploaded before release. Welcome Ultracar. If you want to play version 0.0.1, that's there. 0.0.2, that's also there. And that's all I have at the moment. I think another thing that I was trying to add was a way to see your total playtime added up across all of your solutions, which is not a thing that currently exists, right? Currently, there's nothing that's like, oh, you know, this one took you 5 seconds, this one took you 10 seconds. It should say the total is 15 seconds. We don't have that. And it's like a little bit complicated to add, mostly because of the way that we've implemented the save data. Like, okay, so on the Game Boy, the Game Boy doesn't natively have division or multiplication instructions. So you can't just store your data as like seconds, right? You would think you could store this as like, you know, if it took them like a minute and a half, you would store it as 90 seconds and then convert it. It would be very inefficient. So the way it's stored is actually binary coded decimal. So you instead store, so like a byte can store 2 digits. The first 4 bits are this digit. I guess depending on your endiness. But 4 of the bits store this digit, 4 of them store this one. So to store how long someone took, it takes 2 bytes. And we're storing in this format. And to add them up is a bit annoying. Also the fact that you can't just divide by 60. I don't know. On my own page, going to downloads page gives me every uploaded version. Like, is there like a separate? No, there isn't. You can't. How do you even do it? I don't even know. Maybe there's some way. But anyway, I was thinking I could have something that people could see how long they spent. Because I think that's cool. That's interesting to know. And I don't have space in this menu to add it, so I'm thinking I could just add it up here. Right? Just show something up there. And then there's other bugs that people have reported. It's having the empty spaces highlightable in rows, columns that have less elements intended. Yes, because otherwise you can't really go down here. Welcome mid-flight. Thank you, thank you. Right, if you could not go here into this space, how would you go here? You would have to, like, if you were here, you would like go down, you would always be here, and then you would have to go here. But now you can simply go this way and down there. You could also do it the way that Vim does it. I considered that, but I thought it might be confusing. You'll note that in Vim itself, if you start off on this column right here, although you go down and there's nothing on this character, it'll go to the last one. And then when you finally enter a line that does have, like for example here, it will be, actually I guess it's at the end. Okay, maybe it's a bit more complicated. Let's say you were here, right? It would go here. Now I could have done something like that. I thought it'd be confusing, so instead now I have it. So it says GJ moves you down directly. What do you mean? I mean, you could also do this. Also welcome Zoli, I think. But yeah, anyway, there were bugs. People reported some bugs, such as, let me check the Discord. Classic Carabel found a bug where you can break the game. You can break the game somehow. Let me see if I can reproduce it. Let's see. So it was said you could do it. Let me do this on the other Pocket file. Looks like I have 3 files under upload on one of my itch pages. Current version, old version, HTML5 version. Under upload, but is it under download though? I don't know. Anyway, let's see if this is a bug. It is. I don't see it. Alright, so apparently if you do this. How do you do it? If you hold down one of the buttons and you keep doing this. Hold on, let me read. What does it say? Put the cursor on the rightmost number, the first row here, and you hold down. Apparently if you keep doing this, it breaks the game. I'm trying to see if this can actually work. When does it break? I match way faster. I can't match that fast. I'm mashing as fast as I can. Apparently, eventually this breaks the game, but I personally am unable to do it. It's happening 80%. What if we do it on levels 6, 7? Because that's the one that was there. Oh, BGM has to be on? Which BGM was it? Let's go 2. 2 is the default. I know that turning BGM on uses up more CPU, so maybe there's some like obscure timing bug that's going on. When? When is it? Showed in the video. No, I watched the video. It was BGM number 6. BGM 6. I know you don't hear BGM now because it might also depend on the emulator. I wonder. What emulator did you play this on? Was it on web? Is that on the web version? It could also be it. It could be that on real emulators, maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe the specific web emulator has like some kind of bug in it. Was anyone able to do it on? Oh no, I did it. Okay. Now the time is gone. Now this cursor is like not there. It's the wrong thing. I actually was able to do something similar once. I noticed one time I started a level, and the time was not showing, and I was like, huh, I wonder if that's just like a, I don't know. And then I was never able to reproduce it. But now look at this. Now it's there, and now it's broken somehow. I mean, I guess it doesn't really affect the game in any like meaningful way. I guess you can't really see your time. I guess that is a pretty meaningful thing. I haven't seen an OST causing trouble since the music in Rebel Star tanked the frame rate. That's perhaps a thing. But I will need to find out. Oh, it also messes up the cursor. You notice that this is not aligned anymore? What the heck? Now what about this? Oh, now it's like behind? How does that even happen? Now it's behind this? Interesting. Well, I will need to figure that out. But also another thing people reported, it breaks in different ways. The markers sometimes are different. I guess it's undefined. Welcome, Taffy. Sometimes they may disappear altogether. And then also, like, some colors, the markings are, like, not very visible. So, for example, color number 4. Like, while I can tell the difference, I feel like depending on your monitor settings, or perhaps color blindness, or perhaps color correction settings in your emulator, sometimes you can't tell the difference, right? I can tell this is, like, subtly different, but it is very, like, it's not different enough, you know? For example, color 5 is very visible. Color 6 is pretty visible. Welcome, Resi. 7 is pretty visible. 8, I think that's pretty visible. 9 is pretty visible. 10, it's like somewhat. This could have a little bit better contrast. Welcome, Vacuously. That's right, level 6, 7. I feel, yeah, color number 11, I can tell the difference. Maybe some people can't. 12 is pretty different. 13 is different enough. 15, it's kind of subtle. Actually, I mean, I can tell. Maybe not all people. Can we ban that chatter? Which one? Do you know that this color was a reference to Jazz Cups? Anyone know that? Anyone realize this? Jazz Cup. Now you know. Now you look at this and be like, ah, yes, I recognize this design. It's literally the same color. It has good contrast, exactly. Thank you, Vacuously, for the 12 months. That's an entire year. Almost. You're like, well, almost? What? I thought it was a year. No, 13 months. That's a year. Because on Twitch, when you pay the first time, it's month 1. So really, month 13 is when an entire 12 months has passed. True Walfie karaoke when? Off stream, probably next Saturday. I was invited to watch the Uma Musume. I talked about this. The Uma Musume movie. And I'm like, what if we also do karaoke? Oh my god. It could happen. It could happen. I don't know. They've changed their prices. It's different now. It used to be. They used to have karaoke marathon. You could stay in there from like 1 p.m. until 8 p.m. for $14 per person. And now it's like, that's like only on Sunday, but I'm going on Saturday, so it doesn't work. But also they're like per hour room charges are like pretty expensive. A lot of stuff. Preferably, you'd want a complementary color to the unmarked numbers rather than a shade of the same color. Yes, but then like the current way that I have it implemented, I'm just using the second color. No, the third color. I'm just using we have, you know, 4 colors. You got white, you got what is essentially black or a very dark color. And you have like this color, and then you have this color. So I'm simply just using, I guess, this color. It's pretty self-evident. It is just this color. You want to karaoke all the way over there? Hope they aren't heavy. They're not heavy. Oki is so light. Too busy being responsible. This guy is gonna cosplay. What if someone just said, hey, I like your Agnes cosplay? Excuse me, it's not Agnes. There's multiple Agnes. Multiple characters with the same. You can't just call her Agnes. This contrast is pretty good though. This one's pretty good. This one's pretty good. This one is awful. Look at it. You can't even tell. This one is like pretty much the same color. It's literally the same. This one is alright. This one could be better. I fully understand why it doesn't work. Just happy there's at least one. It's clear for people with mole vision. Wait, you could not tell the other ones? Like, this one's pretty out. Whoa, what the heck? I somehow replicated the bug, like, by accident? Hold on. What the heck? I wasn't even mashing the enter key. Oh. How did that happen? What the heck? How did I do that? I was just changing colors normally. Oh my god. No, it turns out this game's full of bugs. Can't believe it. Can't believe. This game's been out for a week and it's already full of bugs. Welcome, XS. I think you streamed. I think I saw you tweet that you're gonna stream this game. You did. Could be it was in a bad state. That is true. It could be the memory after you've done it once. It's in a bad state. What if I just kill and reopen? Unplayable, I want my money back. No. Oh, wait, this color. Anyway, to have this be a different color requires, for it to be a color that's not in the color scheme, it would need to be, I would need to change a lot of stuff. I would need to change it so that these tiles use a different color palette that is like almost exactly the same as the main color palette, except like one color is changed. I need to make sure that this one, but then I need to make sure that like these tiles, this part of the tile right here doesn't get the color changed. It might be a bit annoying, but I will see what I can do. Okay, we're gonna open up a sprite. I will show you specifically. Oh, this is spoilers. Spoilers. Sorry, I didn't mean to open that one. Now I need to actually care about spoilers. You know, when I was developing the game, no one cared, and now people care. Now I can't just show the answers, because then everyone will know. We got nonogram left, nonogram top, nonogram bottom. It's right. Where is it? There. And then if I enable grid view, so I need to make sure if I update, I would need this to not have its color change. I would need to change the palette of these, because like, this is using the darker color. Maybe it's fine actually. Maybe, I don't know. You have to think about it. Welcome BrainZap. And the same for like this one. Grid settings. See, okay, I guess numbers probably only go up to here. So maybe for this one it's fine. Or I could just change the color palette entirely so that the third color is a bit more distinct from the darkest color. But maybe some people like the current color schemes. And for me to change it, they'll be like, I can't believe that you changed this. The previous one was so good. This one though, I feel like this one is a bit too subtle. I could make the brown a bit lighter. Perhaps. So if you look at the color palettes right here. Color palette number 24. 24. You know, one thing I also did not credit the color palette. I noticed that I forgot to do that. Okay, but do you expect people to like usually if you see a color palette used in a game, they don't usually get credited, right? I guess like maybe I guess I could put them on the itch page. But I did modify. It's not exactly the color palette. I had to modify it to work on the Game Boy. It's like, is it really this though? See, the color that I have is not the same. This is a bit different. It's got invented colors. I can't believe this. 4, do you guys notice that color scheme number 4 is based on my color scheme? Look at that, it's literally the same, the same shade of red. And the blue, it's using the same blue. It's there. Some people thought it was America. Red, white, and blue. You got this one, these ones. Anyway. I will need to figure out a separate color thing. But do you also know that if you play this on a monochrome Game Boy, specifically the DMG, the color contrast— what? It broke again? Hold on. This game is— what the frick is this game? Why am I able to replicate the bug? I even closed and reopened the game. What am I doing? What are we doing here? How is this cursed? I never encountered this, but once I've encountered it once, everything is broken? What the heck, man? Maybe if you like change color, maybe you change these colors and then you change this. What causes this? Or maybe it's when you're unpaused, and maybe when you're like, if you pause while you're above a number, maybe that's what causes it. There's like some weird thing that's going on there. I feel like most people would be pausing like when they're in this menu rather than here. Changing the most egregious ones slightly would probably be enough. If you get annoyed with one, you could just switch. True, that is true. But if you change this color and then you change this, see that? Okay, so that was enough to break it. What causes it? What? Now it's fixed? It's not fixed. I need to check that. So let's see. If you're paused, if you are hovered above a number, and you pause and unpause, why does that break it? What causes it? I thought 1 was the Walfie palette. No, 1 is simply so this is BGM. Color number 1 is, which one is that? Welcome Extraneous Jedi. It is actually Modern 4. Lowspec.com palette list Modern 4. Wow, look at this. I chose this one as the default one because I noticed this one probably looked the best with different color correction settings. Like whether you had it on or off. The other one, sometimes it depended. It honestly depends. Anyway, I do need to fix this. But how? What is the actual bug that's going on? Pause, if you have paused it. Alright, so let's say handle pause menu input. What am I doing here? I could break everything. You unpause if recent press, update sprite positions. Update sprite positions. So if you unpause, toggle pause. Oh, maybe, wait, maybe it's this. Maybe I need to return this. Maybe that's what it is. But then, like, if I can't replicate the problem now, it might just be like it was already like kind of hard to replicate consistently. But it could be that I haven't fixed it, but it's simply just I just failed to run into the same problem. I don't know. I wonder if it'll happen now. Maybe that's all it was. Maybe because, okay, see, if I toggled the pause menu, I turned the pause menu off. That means the sprites have changed. Okay, so then if the sprites have changed and I call update sprite position, then maybe that breaks something. I wonder about this. Like, I'm not able to replicate it now, so maybe that fixes it. What if I'm hovered above one of these? What if I just do this as normal? Maybe it's fine. Maybe this is fine. Oh wait, no, the BGM needs to be on, right? BGM number 6. Welcome, Ernesto. Because maybe that's a problem. It seems like that might have fixed it. So maybe no longer a problem. I mean, I guess it's good that like no one else has really like reported this, or maybe people have noticed it but have not like bothered to post about it. Maybe they're, huh, that's weird, and then they continue playing as normal. I think maybe that fixed it. You know, I've not been able to replicate in the past several minutes. So perhaps it's fine. Maybe it works out. Oh wait, no, it was not fixed. It's not fixed. It's still a bug. Okay, so that's not what fixes it. Okay, so what causes this? Handle pause menu input. Break. Handle pause menu input. And if you press this, if I return, it doesn't fix it. That doesn't, guys, it doesn't fix it. Update sprite positions. What is he saying? Anyway, it's cool seeing people enjoy the game. I honestly didn't think there was like that much of a market for like Game Boy Color Picross games. But there were a lot of people that were like, oh, whoa, what the heck? I gotta play this one. And then a lot of people in retro achievements that do care. A lot of people playing this right now. Literally, right now. 56 seconds ago. I wish you could like expand. You know, it only shows the most recent 10 people. But what if you could see that there's actually 50 people playing? Welcome, Jellomat. That's you? You're playing this right now? That's him right there. Are there nested interrupts? As in, am I using nested interrupts? Showed her friend the game and she downloaded an emulator just for it. It's her first Picross? What the? Specifically for my game? Okay. GPC in general is and was pretty rare. Yeah, but like I didn't know there was demand for it. It seems like such a niche thing. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna make like a Game Boy Color game. Whoever plays it is gonna play it. Happy to have a set of curated puzzles. Try not spoiling myself on too many. But then what if you're watching this stream and I open up the list of all of the puzzles? And then you're like, no, now I know all the answers. Anyway, if you care about spoilers, don't open retro achievements because it will it will show you images. It will show the achievement names are based on the solutions. Achievement images are based on images. Welcome Orfish, welcome Royal. Am I using nested interrupts? No, not that I'm aware. I don't think there are nested interrupts. But am I handling, hold on, handle pause menu input. Puzzle update is not being done in an interrupt. Puzzle update interrupts, Specifically, update sprite frames is being done. Timer frames elapsed. Draw bottom part of grid. Another thing, I think most people don't realize all the magic I needed to do to get this to work on the Game Boy, but I did see one person rate my game who said you had to do a bunch of like, what? Let me see what the review was. You have to do a bunch of like dark magic to get this to work, and I was like, how does this guy know? And then I checked his games, and he's a Game Boy developer. So I'm like, okay, now there's people that understand. You look at this and you're just like, it's just a grid-based game, right? No. The Game Boy is 8x8 tile grids. You'll notice this is a 6x6 grid. Okay, then I do a lot of stuff to get a 6x6 grid to work in an 8x8 grid system. 8x8 pixel tiles. And also the fact that you can't have this many unique tiles on the screen without switching out tile addressing modes. Okay, so what's the problem here? What am I doing wrong? Pause menu. Toggle pause menu. Grid based, more like grid cringe. So true. So true. He was so right for this. But it does seem like the bug only happens when you're above this. So maybe there's something here? Like if I try doing this, I don't know if the same problem would show up. Maybe it would. Maybe people just don't pause and unpause this often. Maybe. I wonder if it's only if you're on the left or above. I guess people that are just showing up are like, what's he doing? What is bro even doing? And just spamming the start button. Okay, so let's assume it's like specific to it being on the left side. Wait, isn't there like a turbo button that you can press that will hold down the button? Or not hold down, but like press it really fast? Configure input. Maybe this one doesn't have turbo. But many emulators do. They do have turbo. Okay, so let's see. If handle puzzle input. So why would it mess up the data? It's because I'm hiding. It's maybe related to hiding and showing the numbers. That's the only thing I can really think of. It's this. Sprites. Number, because that's the only time that I'm modifying the tile data. So if I did, for example, number, what's it called? Number clues, toggle clues, toggle clue, raw. There could be something broken here. Toggle clue, 2 bits per pixel. Tile modified. Toggle clue, toggle clue. No, this is toggling an individual clue. What was it? What was the function called? I'm asking as if you know for some reason. Guys, what was that function called? Someone's like, oh, Walfie, it's obviously toggle something. Numbers. Toggle clue. Toggle side. Clues marked. Side. Clue. Max clue side. Lawrence or Larry. The cable guy. Lawrence of Arabia. Toggle pause menu. High numbers. Puzzle set cell. Show. Maybe it's just show. Interrupt handler. Update BGM. Update color. No, this is not it. Where's my function? Pause menu input. Save progress. Resume save progress. Load level, I think. This is it. Init puzzle solution. Reveal image, get color, show clues, that's what it was. Show clues. Show clues. Show clues. Toggle pause menu. If not show clues. Why would this be if not show? Oh, because you're showing the pause menu, right? not the clues. You're showing the pause menu, so you hide the clues. No, you're hiding the show menu. Something, I don't know. Film hints. Okay, so this could be perhaps where the bug is. Perhaps this part is buggy. I think Twitch is about to show ads soon, so it's time for me to drink some water. As soon as it shows those ads, hydration time. I guess I'll just do it now. I might as well just do it now. Sipping. Alright, I've done it. You know that Vacuously requested to be number 67 at one point? I think it was on stream, on my stream. But I didn't. She's in fact not level 67. I believe this. Let's see. If not show clues, update state paused. Update pause menu state, and I didn't? That's right, I didn't. I don't even remember what number she was. Doesn't have enough clout. Yeah, but then after this game, I wonder if the number of searches for Vacuously went up. Because people, it's like a solution, and they're like, what is that? I wonder if people found ChocoJax's stream after doing the ChocoJ dog puzzle. And they're like, what is, I thought this was just a regular dog. What is a Chocoj dog? And then they look it up and they're like, wow, I'm gonna follow her right now. I mean, she is number 67. No, I remember what 67 is. I know, I'm not gonna spoil it. But I know what 67 is. Alright, so could there be an issue if we were to show the clues and hide the clues? If we show clues, what happens here? Show clues. Resident expert knows what 6-7 is? Yeah, because various people were doing it. Because Vac tried solving puzzle 6-7 when she played it. Can you believe that she didn't start on level 1? Especially as someone who doesn't know how to play the game, she decided she started on puzzle 67. And then other people off stream were also solving it. That's how I remember which one it is. Vibes based. More like Vibes cringed. Am I right, guys? So true. So true, Walfie. Update. Okay, this one's the broken thing. Okay, this one here. Update pause menu state. Set banked background data. Set banked background data. Set background data. Wait, is it because I'm using the wrong thing here? Pause menu main tiles. No, that should be fine. I might as well update it to be safe. It could be loading data from a different bank. Anyone do that? Go to their bank, find out that you've loaded your money from a different bank. Does something trigger if you finish all puzzles? Yes. Yes. And if you go on retro achievements, it does spoil you. The achievement for for finishing all puzzles does have spoilers, so you do not want to check that. Can't believe this. Pause menu. This would be scene, pause menu. Scene, puzzle. Maybe that's it. Tried a few times to replicate it in the grid. Okay, so it's gotta be based on being in the clues column or row or whatever. I wonder if this is it. I wonder if this will break. Because like it does take a while. I feel like a lot of times you'll have to try really hard. There's like a few people that encountered this by accident. I guess I did. I also encountered it by accident. But it really depends on someone like pausing specifically on this side. Is this the issue? Could this perhaps be the issue? I don't think this would fix it. The thing that I just did, I'm not sure if that would fix it. Because like the RAM is not banked. The ROM is. Okay, but I mean it shouldn't help. It's fine. It's fine to have this. Scene puzzle. Set bank to background data. Update pause menu state. Update state to state pause, and then update pause menu state. Wait, why am I changing it to state pause and then changing it to state puzzle? Hold on. State is confirm if you're quitting. Oh no, this is different. This is when you're quitting. This is if you choose to quit or give up or save. This is not the same thing. Okay, so it would be... It would not be this. Pause menu state. Solid, liquid, or gas. What state? What state is that in? Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid. It sure is solid. And I would hope that a Metal Gear is in fact solid. The absolute state. Update state. Me when I go to New Jersey. Update state. Alright, so this one. Maybe there's some kind of conflict. If you toggle pause menu. Toggle pause menu false. It would mean you turn off the menu. Handle pause menu confirm input. Toggle pause menu. Show clues. Show clues. What about hide clues? I guess it would be no, it would be during show clues. We're setting the banked sprite data to current bank. Is that correct? VRAM buffer set banked sprite data based on. Maybe it shouldn't be current bank. Maybe this is supposed to be actually bank. I typed that wrong. Bank scene puzzle. That would make more sense. Because current bank, depending on, oh, maybe that's what it is. Because like, if you're in an interrupt, it could be running in a different bank. And then all the people are like, so true, Walfie, so true. I definitely understand what you're talking about. This definitely makes sense to me. Remember that one time that someone did understand what I was talking about when when I was trying to learn banking in Game Boy and someone showed up, a new chatter that never came back. He was like, oh, I think you have to set this pragma. I was like, what the heck? How does someone know? I thought no one knew. I thought no one knew Game Boy development. Okay, what if this fixed it? What if that was the problem? And then I think that I fixed it, but then it just turned out I was unlucky. And just my input happened to not capture the exact situation needed to cause the bug. I think that's probably it. Probably what the issue is. Surely that's it. Maybe. Oh, never mind, it did not fix it. Oh man. Oh, look at this, the cursor is different though. Look at that. What's that about? How did that happen? Why is this happen? Why does that happen? Show clues. It's gotta be related to this show clues thing. The tile row times this clues top width. Can we check what memory looks like? Let's look at the tile viewer. So what was overridden? Easter egg square cursor? No way. No way. Wait, it's showing that it's trying to... It is still using this cursor though. So like, what is this from? Like, this is what's in memory. Oh wait, no, it's like switching. It's like switching? Where is this coming from? So let's see. So the tile on the left is 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Where is that coming from? It would have to be... It's probably this. Or not. It also... 1, 2. The only 1, 2... is... It might be one of these weird timing things. Or like, depending on when you press it. So this is the way... This is the weird thing. Is that the tile addressing mode, we have an interrupt that happens after it draws to this scan line. The way that the Game Boy works, it draws every line one by one, and you can add interrupts so that, let's say, like after it draws this line, you can change some logic. That's how people do like scrolling effects sometimes. For this one, in order to fit this many tiles on the screen, after this scan line, I switched the tile addressing mode to read from the bottom set. Like above here is reading from like here to here. And then once it reaches down here, it starts reading from here to here. So I think that maybe if you like unpause like right between... If your unpause happens maybe right between when you're switching from here to here, that could maybe cause... But why does that only happen when you're on above the clues? I was in row 4 when it happened, which has the 1, 2. Maybe. Okay, what if we try it on a different one? Like if I were to try it on this. I got 37. I don't even remember what that one was. But you can't tell us, because then it'd be spoilers. Wait, it's already bugged. So now the sprite is Walfie's hair. Interesting. So now it's reading from this. Why is that? What's causing this? Why is it doing that? So somehow the sprite that's being read is being changed. Set sprite. Set sprite. Set sprite tile. I must be doing set sprite tile somewhere. Initialize sprites. Because that's the only time when this would really change. So where do I do that outside of init? This? Update sprite positions. So the cursor, it does change for the cursor. Update sprite frames. Let's see, puzzle. Cursor position. Sprite tag. Cursor frame count. Move banked meta sprite _ex. Clock might also be a hint. I said it was the clock. So it's no longer using this. Let's look at the sprite viewer. So the timer is which one is it? Yeah, the clock always disappears. But which one of these is the clock? Does it even exist anymore? It seems like it doesn't even exist anymore. What the heck? Because like if you start a level, the clock is here, but after that it doesn't exist anywhere else. Anyway, this probably is not the most interesting thing to watch, but I will need to fix this eventually, so I might as well be productive. Oh, it broke. Okay. So it seems that, okay, so that sprite disappeared. And now these sprites are also hidden. So maybe it's like, hide sprites range. Soothing to watch. It's gotta be the lo-fi BGM. Seems like it changed colors in the tile viewer. Which one? This one? Did I say BGM needed to be on? It is on. Let's see. Faded gray just means it's not being used. You'll note that this stuff is also faded gray. It's gotta be, maybe it's like mixing up the current. No, what could cause this? Hide sprite range. Hide sprite range. When do I do this? When I go to save screen, when I go to level select, update state. Hide all sprites except timer sprites and Walfie. Pencil, that explains why Walfie is always shown. But why the timer sometimes goes away. Sprite ID cursor gets hidden. Timer. Hide from sprites. Oh no, I guess, okay, so. The timer is always shown. Hide sprites range. Hide nine non-timer sprites. Do I ever use this? Puzzle finish. What are we doing here? What are we doing? What is anyone even doing in life? Update state. It's gotta be in here. This has gotta be where the bug is. Is that we're setting up breakpoints? I don't know how to do that. Even if I did, we don't have the thing that shows you like the C code. It shows you the assembly. I guess I would need to be like, I don't know. There's no mapping. I'd have to be like this specifically simply interpret. No. I can't. Look at all the, why are there so many halt instructions? I guess the Game Boy requires you to have zeros in places. This might just be uninitialized. Or just, I don't know, there might be some padding that they need. There's some compilers that will show you equivalent C code given source. Yeah, there is a way to do that. I just need to... I've just not felt a need to do it. Surely I can figure it out without this. Obviously. Just by guessing. Just by vibes. Vibes-based guessing. Vibes-based debugging. Alright, so update state. We're gonna do, what happens? That's the thing. Does that happen when the clues are hidden or when they're shown? Because I've just been mashing. But like, That's the question. That is, in fact, the question that we all have to wonder. It has something to do with updating sprites. Sprite. What about Coca-Cola? We're always updating sprites. What about the Coca-Cola, guys? No one even thinks about the Coca-Cola. Show sprites. Update sprite positions. Update sprite. Show clues. So we are setting banked sprite data. Tile. I guess the sprite data itself is not really changing. It's the sprite tiles themselves. Hold on, let me try to reproduce it again. I will observe the status of the sprites, specifically the tiles here. I don't think the tile, I don't think this changes. Right, I mean it changes now because like I'm toggling it. Look, I don't think after the bug occurs, these tiles stay the same. It's just that the sprites are then assigned to different tiles. Somehow. I wish there was a consistent way to do this. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now that this is here, I do notice that all these are the same. This stuff has not changed. So it's not related to setting the sprite data. It's related to setting the sprites tiles. The sprite tiles themselves. The only place where I call set sprite tile. Let's see. This is related to sprite tiles themselves, rather than me calling set banked metadata. No, that's not necessarily true. Is that true? Yes, because okay, now I know it's related to set sprite tile specifically because I know that this is a meta sprite. only the ones that are single 8x8 sprites are affected. These ones here are regular sprites. The larger ones that are composed of multiple sprites stay intact. Maybe, oh, that's why the numbers are also affected, because these are single tile sprites. That's why Walfie is fine, because Walfie is also made up of several tiles. This pencil's also fine, so it's specifically set sprite tile being messed up somewhere. But where? So this right here is init sprites. Init sprites is only called at the very beginning, so it's probably not related to this. The other place where set sprite tile is called is here, which would be update sprite positions and also update sprite frames. So what's wrong with this? Set sprite tile, if show cursor. Looking at the VOD in slow-mo, it appears to be in the unpause. There's an artifact in the grid only when the bug happens. Appears to be on unpause. Interesting. Okay. An artifact in the grid. Yeah, so that is the cursor. Interesting. So if show cursor, set sprite tile set index plus cursor frame, modulo sprite tag cursor frame count. Set sprite tile, update sprite frame. Okay, this one here, we're updating the cursor sprite frame. System time. I mean, this seems fine so far. Sprite ID cursor, this is constant. This is also constant. Sprite tile set index does not change. So like, why would that happen? Why would this even occur? Sprite tile. What if I simply waited for a VSync? Surely, if I just waited one frame after unpausing, it could prevent any sort of weird timing-related behaviors. That's gotta be it, right? Unpause, hide, what's it called? Toggle menu, toggle pause. Toggle pause menu. Okay, maybe when you're unpausing, I will simply VSync. Surely nothing can go wrong, right? If not show, so if you are hold on, if show, then VSync. Simply add no, it's VSync. Which I guess does probably do no ops under the hood. Maybe this fixes it. Now maybe there's people that will get annoyed by this. Maybe there's like, what the frick? This patch adds 1 frame of delay between unpausing. That ruins my pause only speedrun. I will not cater to those gamers. Okay, so we are waiting 1 frame after unpausing. Is this it though? Is this, hold on, update state puzzle. Tile map show, set banked background tiles. Actually, maybe it should be up here. If show, VSync. I'm gonna try this. We're gonna see if this happens. What if this fixes it? Wouldn't that be cool? What am I doing here? We're setting the tile map to this. Pause menu tile map, we're like hiding it. And we're setting the tiles to this. And then we resync. Although I guess if the bug happens after update sprite positions, and maybe we have two vsyncs. No, we can't have two. We gotta only have one. It's gotta be right before the sprite toggling. I think. Hold on. Scene puzzle. Scene puzzle's here. Tile map. Pause menu tile map. Puzzle tile map. Alright, whatever. Let's see if this fixes it. What happens now? My fear is that if I update this, what if it breaks something else, right? It's always what happens when you release software. Like, what if by fixing this, it just breaks everything else? Alright. Does this fix it? If I can't replicate this, oh, never mind. Okay, never mind. It does not fix it. Turns out it's not related to this, but what if we had another one? What if instead we had a vsync up here? Wait, did I do this the opposite way? Hold on. It should be if you're, okay, it should be if you're showing, if you're high, okay, no, the vsync should be here. Right, because this makes more sense. Because the bug happens when the menu is hidden, so show would be false. I'm skipping this long. Surely this is it. It's gotta be this. Wait, I should be testing on 6.7 because that's what we've been testing on 6.7. Do this. And then obviously, if I keep doing this for 5 minutes and it doesn't happen, then I'm pretty sure that it fixed it. So right now it is, on this clock it says 6:34, although in real life it is 6:33. But if I can't replicate, I'm not gonna mash for 5 minutes, I guess. But okay, what if I mash for like 2 minutes? If after 2 minutes, I guess I didn't check when the clock first hit 6:34. So maybe once the clock hits 6:37 on the bottom, if I've not encountered the bug, then I will assume that it's fixed. Surely it's good. Surely that's it. It's gotta be it, right? I haven't encountered it so far. So it's probably good, right? But what if it shows up after 5 minutes? What if we added a retro achievement for mashing 5 minutes? You can't. It would not make sense. Alright, it's been probably at least 1 minute, and we have not seen the issue. So it's looking pretty good. What's supposed to happen? Nothing. Nothing is supposed to happen, which means we fixed it. If nothing happens, then all is good. Welcome, Taftanes. Tafetanes. It's looking pretty good. Just have to wait until 6:37. 6:7. 6:37. I think we fixed it. I think that's it. It's some sort of weird timing thing. Now, I'm not sure why that would happen. What was the bug? You would have to, well, you can check the Discord actually. There's a video on the Discord. Was it perhaps an issue with pause during a timer draw update? I imagine it's maybe a bug related to unpausing while I'm switching tile addressing modes somehow. Because I think the timer update cannot get interrupted. I think the digit incrementing has to complete. Actually, no, maybe. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It's possible. Well, I think I fixed it. Considering it's been around 3 minutes and we've not seen it, I'm inclined to believe that adding that one VSync fixed everything at the expense of making unpausing 1 frame slower. Let me see where update timer is though. Update timer. Set banked sprite data. No, I think it's unrelated to this. Alright, well that's it. We fixed this one. Question is, do I keep this though? Do I keep this in here? Pause menu. No, surely. I think this up here was fine. I have no reason to change this. Let me go back and undo that one. Oh, but what if changing this causes this to work? Do I have to try again? Update pause menu. So let's check it. Update pause menu state. So this one used to be not set banked. This one used to be just regular set background data, which I think is fine because pause menu main tiles is simply the static variable rather than something that would be in a specific bank. But this one, I think this one definitely is needed because current bank is not guaranteed to be same puzzle. Okay, so fix bug where sprites get corrupted when unpausable. Is this true? Is this really the issue? Alright, I've updated it. It's no longer GDBK example. It's now Walfie's -nonograms.git. Does anyone do this? Does anyone update their git config file manually instead of like running git command? I do that. I find it easier. Okay, so that's there. I do that. See, isn't it so much simpler? You're like, I want to add a new remote, you just copy this, you change this stuff. I don't update anything. Can't believe this. Alright, so now that that's fixed, next thing to do, I should be writing this down. Sounds like a convo you had at work, like me updating the git config. I've never talked about this at work. Okay, so to do, change color palette to have better contrast. What else did I want to do? To do, add total elapsed time, sum of all puzzle times. Yes. I do have a to-do to rename Cherry to... Sorry, this is spoiler. There is a level... I guess it's a 10 by 10 level, so most people probably have done it. There's a 10 by 10 level that's named Cherry. Despite the fact that it's named Cherry, it's actually 2 cherries. And I was like, that's kind of messed up, don't you think? But then I looked it up. Mario's Picross has a level that is also called Cherry, and it's also 2 cherries. And also I feel like when you play Pac-Man, people just call it a cherry despite the fact that it's 2 cherries. So I'm like, is it really an issue? Is that, maybe it's fine that I keep it named Cherry? I don't know. It could be it. Congrats on release every game. Hope it gets played by all Picross fans, all of them? I don't think all of them would, but hopefully many. I noticed the other misnamed puzzle, Jelly Donut. Well, that one's a joke, okay? That's a Pokemon reference. Some people don't understand that reference. I've had to explain it at least once. It is a Pokemon reference to the localization, the English dub of Pokemon, where they refused to acknowledge anything Japanese and they had to like make everything Americanized. So Brock was like, he was holding what is obviously rice balls. He said, Jelly Donuts. Jelly Donut, yeah, it's a classic, everyone knows it. Maybe not everyone, many people know it. It's a commonly known thing. I thought it was an Ace Attorney joke since they do this. Do they also have Jelly Donuts? Is that also a thing? I did level 14. Oh, it's Jelly Donut. It's Jelly Donut. I do know some Japanese people have played the game, and I'm sure they're probably very confused. They're like, what? Jelly Donut? It's kind of messed up since I remember someone eating a taiyaki one episode. I assume they were eating a whole fried Magikarp. Yeah, why would they? Well, Magikarp is not that small, right? I guess they would have some small Magikarps. I don't know. Never heard of Jelly Donut outside of jokes. Well, now you know. The original source is Pokemon. The Pokemon English dub. Brock says it. I could even look it up. Pokemon Jelly Donut. Oh, I've looked this up before. I've looked this up before. Probably when I was adding this puzzle. These donuts are great. There it is. Jelly filled. Not my favorite. Wow. That's him. That's him right there. But anyway. Next thing to change. Color palettes. I feel that'd be easy to do. Probably. So we'll see which one of these have like hard to see color differences. We'll change them slightly. But what if it ruins the vibe? That's the thing. What if by doing that it simply ruins the vibe? Like this one's barely visible. Color scheme 4. But then if I made the blue lighter, wouldn't that... It would ruin the background. Do I want it to ruin the background? What is the alternative? No. Well, thanks for stopping by, Zoli. I could consider having a separate palette that just has one of the colors be more contrasty. Does the number of mark color have to exactly match the rest of the palette? Sorry, does the number mark color? It doesn't. So it kind of does in the sense that, well, no. So the way that it works is it's part of the tile data. So if I were to change the palette, I would need to change the palette of specifically this 8x8, each one of these 8x8 tiles. So like if I change, like for example, this green, I guess, okay, so it has 4 shades. I used this one for the marked color, which would mean that, oh wait, that would not necessarily work. No, it would work, because I only use this color for marking. But it would also mean that this right here would also change. This decoration would also change, which would be stylistically different. And also, but then since this thing is aligned differently on a tile, this one would not be changed, which would be a bit strange as well. Do I have any levels where like the one goes all the way up until the left side like this? If I remember, you can't have the color number mark color just be completely different. No, so that's what I was trying to explain, is that it has to be, I'm changing the entire, like, the Game Boy has like these 8x8 tiles, and everything within that tile has to use the same 4 colors. And since I use this color as the same color as the number, this would also get changed. Which is maybe fine for this side, but not up here, because now this thing, it would also end up changing this this part up here, since I used the same color for this. Now, actually I guess I don't have to change this one, since numbers don't go up until here. Right, welcome Stanley. As far up as it goes is here. The other alternative is to have new sprites for crossed out numbers, but you can't have them be sprites though. Well, I guess maybe you mean sprites in a way that's not Game Boy specific. No, because I can't do that, because the way these are not actually... Okay, no, I know what you mean. Yes, that would require major changes. Because the way that I'm marking these is, I don't actually store these numbers anywhere. I just copy from memory what the what the pixel data is, and then I do a bunch of like bitwise operations to like invert certain bits so that it shows up with a different color scheme. And to draw a completely separate thing would require a lot of other changes. It would also be much slower, which is fine. Maybe that's fine, but it would require many changes. The big change, that's how some other non-GBC games do it. Yeah. But yeah, okay, I want to see if I do like, if I have any other any levels where the clues go all the way up to the left. What is the largest? Let me take a look. Which one of these has many clues? Maybe number 102. Also, number 102, I remember, has a lot of stuff. Okay, so this one goes all the way up until here. Yeah, if I look at the tile data, this one. So it would change the color of this, which would be a bit strange. I guess I could just change the color palette itself. Okay, it would ruin some... What if some people got attached to this color palette? They're like, oh no, color 4, it's now slightly brighter. I can't believe it's slightly brighter now. I need to think about this. The other option could be... Well, I was thinking I could just like move this to like the background sprite, but I can't really do that because this stuff on the left side all uses one tile. Like this is all the same tile. Right, and we need this thing to be like attached to this stuff, which is different. I don't know how to explain it in a good way. Right, because for smaller grid sizes, you can't determine on the left side which one of these goes there. Or maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine if the left side has different colors. If these decorations on the left side have slightly different colors than the ones up top. No, but that'd be so weird, right? Wouldn't that be so weird? People would be like, why is this one brighter than this one? What do I do? What do I even... I think about. I gotta consider this. This is why Game Boy development is hard. If you were making this in any other engine, you'd just be like, yeah, let's just change the color. Let's just have like a dark color specifically for numbers, or a lighter color, I mean. For this one, it's like if you change the lighter color, it's gonna have cascading effects on all the tile data. Can't believe this. What if I made this? What if this one instead was this color? Hold on. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So like, what if instead of being this, it was this? No, that's too weird, right? That's too dark. That's too strange. Ugh. That looks so different. It's too big of a change. And the thing is, like, I can't use this lighter color, right? I can't just use this color for the numbers, because then now, like this one. And that one in the viewer, it could all just be a slightly lighter blue. Yeah, but wouldn't that ruin it though? It'd be a totally different color scheme. I guess I could try. What if I had a setting? No, like adding a new new setting would be too much. I was like, what if I had like a high contrast mode setting, which changes some of the colors to be specifically, then I guess it would be the same as having double the number of color palettes. Or what if I had, instead of just color 4, I had like a color 5 that is simply just like the same. This, can it pull from Walfie sprite colors? No. That is a different... You can only have 4 colors per tile. I do have a color palette that is based on Walfie sprite colors though. Forget which one it was. I guess maybe I'll just make it lighter. I guess people will have to deal with it. If their color scheme, favorite color scheme was color scheme number 4, I'm sorry, but your color scheme is gonna get messed up. It's gonna be so messed up. People are gonna boycott the game. They'll be like, no, my favorite color scheme. Wait, oh, color scheme 4 was based on my color scheme. Okay, well, if anyone's affected, it would be me. Color scheme 4 is literally the Walfie color scheme. It's the same shade of red and blue. So I did this. I did this to myself. Okay, so what is a brighter color scheme? Color picker. Color, oh, what the frick, there's one built in? Okay. Okay, what if we did DuckDuckGo has one built. That's so convenient. Okay, what if I made it like... What if I made it like this? This is like so different, right? What about this one? Surely this one is different enough. Oh, it looks so different though. You notice this? Like, compare the previous one to this one. Color scheme number 4. Okay, well, I mean, it looks different based on your emulator, but was it really this dark in the web version? This looks so different. What the heck? Oh, maybe that's the thing. In the web version, it's like much darker. In the version that I had in this emulator, it wasn't that dark. Was this the same color? Hold on, can we undo this? So it was this. It was this color, which looks like this. My emulator is quite dark like the web version. Which one are you using? Are you using RetroArch Gambate? Yeah, that's the one that a lot of people use. My boy for Android. I wonder if I disable color correction, because I know a lot of emulators don't have color correction. Game Boy color correction disabled. It looks like this. Oh, I guess maybe I should try with yeah, okay, so in this one it does, it is barely visible. Old boy. I will assume that one doesn't do color correction, so it probably looks closer to this. And then if I change the color to be a bit brighter, it would look like this, which I guess isn't that different, but also it's still not very visible. It is still very similar. Like, I feel like if I did this, this would be like a totally different color scheme now. Like, so different. Like, yeah, okay, so this one, this color is a bit more readable. It still has some problems, but it is definitely way better. And if you compare this to... If I were to rerun this with the old color, it would look like this. Color 4. Alright, so compare this with this. It is pretty different. I will say I do like this color better though. This one, it's a bit... It is a bit too dark. But if I enable color correction, what does that look like? Oh, it looks way better with color correction on. Let's see. Oh, this was... No. Surely you've all done your 10 by 10s at this point. Oh yeah, this looks way different. With color correction turned on, it looks so different. I don't know about this. Not sure about this change. Like, yeah, that's definitely way more readable. Compared to, like... I mean, with color correction, this one still is kind of fine. I guess if you're playing on something that doesn't have color correction... It would be very dark. Am I willing to make this color this bright though? I gotta think about it. I have to consider. What do I do? Like if I made this, the left side decoration brighter, but then the top side decoration is the same dark color, would that be too much? Would that be too much of a difference? That is the question. That is in fact the question that I have. Oh, it might also change this color. Hold on. Oh no, it doesn't. Yeah, this is on a different tile, so it would not affect the grid colors. It would only really affect this. I could also, like if I were to make this the darkest color, it is a bit too jarring in my opinion. So this is the original color that we previously had. Was this updated? I don't think it was. If I say, oh no, wait, this is a 10 by 10. I didn't update the 15 by 15. So for 10 by 10. It'll look like this. Oh, but then the sprite also has this decoration. Oh no. Oh, maybe it's fine that the sprite has a different color. Let's see. This thing. Oh, that is quite jarring though. In some color schemes, it looks fine. In some though. Which of the color correction settings is what it looks like on a real Game Boy? Color correction enabled. Is what it would look like. Default. Now, different emulators do have different color correction settings, though. Some might argue that some are more accurate than others. This one. It does look pretty. I feel like I should maybe. Like, I feel like the web version maybe should also be prioritized in some way, because this is how a lot of people are playing it. I mean, I guess really, like, the thing would be, like, if it's not contrasty enough, you would just have to go to a different color scheme, which is kind of weird to force on people. Because, like, realistically, I should have just chosen better colors. I feel like for a lot, like, okay, this one's not fine though. Color 10 also has problems. Color 11 also definitely has problems. 12 is a bit hard to see as well. This one's also a bit hard to see. This one, actually, okay, I guess a lot of them on the web version are kind of hard to see. This one is maybe... It's still very subtle though. This one's fine. This one's very readable. Many of them are not though. Oh, Twitch is running some ads. You could have two versions of the game and web version. The web version could be the one that looks good on web. No, but then they would have a different ROM though. That'd be so different. Anyway, I'm gonna drink some water. Twitch is showing ads right now. Alright, you can name the ROMs the same thing. It's not really about the name though. It's kind of like the integrity, you know? The name actually doesn't matter. It's actually the it's actually always named game.gb, not even .gbc. It's just named game.gb because that's what the default thing expects. Game.gb. It's in there somewhere. Anyway, I feel like it'd be kind of weird though, because like these color settings also. What am I saying? That the ROM version would also depend, like, it wouldn't fix the thing where like you're playing it on your emulator and it shows up that way. So I would need to update the ROM version anyway. Like, this contrast is quite jarring. I wonder if I could like restructure it somehow. This is the joys of the limitations of the Game Boy. Let me take a look at that level that had. I guess it's only really it would only really be an issue if the puzzle clues go all the way up to the left side. Can you have different color palettes available depending on the color correction is enabled? No, because that is not detectable from the Game Boy. That is an emulator specific thing. I think maybe it's fine. Maybe for most puzzles, it will not be an issue. I could simply check if there are, if the clues go all the way up until the left, then for those puzzles, the left side will have a slightly different color. And maybe people will be like, what? What is it? Is this a bug? It looks slightly different. Maybe it's fine. Like, how many puzzles really are there where the clues go all the way to the very far left? It would need to have 6 clues. I guess we could check. We could check all of them. It would definitely not apply for these. One of them was a snail. Sorry, that's spoilers. And that one definitely... Well, no, because that's a 10 by 10. I feel with 10 by 10s you can't really have 6 clues, right? Can you? You'd have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 10 by 10 would be fine. So which 15 by 15s have a lot of clues on the left? 42. I think 42 had a bunch of them. Could the puzzles that extend all the way to the left have a slightly larger window? Well, what the heck did I do? No, because what I mentioned was that on the left side we have. Sorry, let me go back. Is that these? The way that this decoration works is that it needs to be on this tile. If we extended it, it would be going into this tile, which is repeated. 72 has a lot of 6 clue rows. Okay. Number 72. Yes. So I guess this one, the left side would be a different color compared to the top. I mean, I think maybe, what if I simply just... I could move this down. Could I do that? I don't know if I could, actually. So that this would also get its color updated without needing me to change, like, the color of this one. If I move this down 2 pixels... Surely, this would not cause any issues. Alright, so this is here. If I move this down so that it's now part of this, and then I also moved this down. Whoops, what the heck? If I also move this down 2 pixels. But then the question is, do I have any clues going vertically that would be written up here though? Now we need to consider, oh wait, this one, oh wait, this one you can't, because if this goes down 2, then it would collide with the 1. I could, if I could, but then I can't move the numbers down 1, because then we have this thing, and we need to have space between this thing. Interesting. Let me see what this looks like. On level 72 specifically. I mean, I know I will also need to update this stuff on the top left, but let's ignore that for now. 72. Oh yeah, we can't do that. Shoot. Oh wait, that would also change this thing so that now Walfie and the numbers need to be moved down. Quite the predicament. Quite the problem that we have here. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, guys. It's too complicated. Why did they make the Game Boy like this? Why couldn't they give us 5 colors? There's 5 colors, that's all I want. Is there any way? Is there any possible way for me to do this? All this to have brighter numbers marked. What if I just remove the number marking system entirely? Say, hey guys, sorry, we can't mark numbers anymore because of various issues. Sorry, I don't have the capacity to support adding multiple colors. Do you see that tweet? On Twitter, they like removed one of the color options, and one of the Twitter developers was like, sorry, we don't have the capacity to support more than one color right now. That was the thing. It happened. It's not possible. Guys, it's literally not possible to do this. You can't do it. Literally can't do it. Welcome, Zuja. Is there a way? Is there some way? I could also make the background. Wait, maybe that's fine. If I also made the background use the lighter color, but then it'd be like, what's the point of having? Then I guess everything would just be that color. I don't know. Then that would be as if I just changed the color itself. Maybe I just do that. Maybe I'll just lighten the color and accept that it'll look different. And then people will be like, what the? Why does this look so different? And gaslight them. They're like, actually it's always been like this. It's actually literally always been like this. Options, emulation. No color correction. Oh, it is still pretty bad though. This kind of feels like something that I would figure out off stream. I don't know if this is the most interesting thing. Because it would require thinking. It would require a lot of thinking. You know, in some ways, making a Game Boy game itself is kind of like a puzzle. There are certain limitations that you have to like abide by. And this is one of those consequences. It's real. Well, anyway, if besides this though, I could try to implement the thing that calculates your total time across all your solved puzzles, so that people know how long they took. I actually started writing some assembly. Because the, you know that the Game Boy specifically has an assembly operation for converting an integer value into a binary coded decimal? Do you know this, guys? I knew. I learned this. So in memory, if you have a value that's like 12, it would be stored as binary 12. What does that look like? Oh no, I'm using the AI. No, well, he's using AI. It would be encoded as 1100, and then you would have zeros there. Game Boy has an instruction that will turn this into it'll turn it into this. These four, and then it would be this. It goes from this to this, and you're like, well, Walfie, what is this? What the heck is this? So this is binary, and this is simply you take 4 bits, and that makes the number. So this right here is 1, and this one is 2. So when you're rendering numbers, you just do a bunch of bitwise operations. You get this 1, and now it's this, and now it's this. They did a bunch of stuff. A lot of things that they did. And then you can also add these. Like if you added this plus this, you would get a new value out, which would be this, right? And then this would specifically, this would be 24. But then like what if it overlaps, right? This is the thing. If you add these and they overlap, let's say you get a value that's like, I don't know, like 2A, right? That's not a thing. If you had a value of 10 here, what is 10 in binary? Good question. This is 8, so you would have 8 and 2. It would look like this. And obviously 2A is not a valid number in the decimal system. So that same operation that turns this thing into this thing can be used to turn this thing into a version that is carried over. So like instead of being 2A, it would be like 3, 0. Wow. But obviously these will be updated, so it would be like this. And this would be a 0. Anyway, that operation is not exposed to C, the C library. So you would have to write assembly to access that. And I feel like I probably could have done that to greatly simplify my timer logic. Because in the timer, I'm manually doing this. Isn't this messed up? I'm manually incrementing seconds and then checking if it's greater than 9, and then if it is, I manually do the carry myself. If I had known that the assembly instruction existed, I could have simply written assembly using that instruction. Look at this, it's like if it's greater than 59 in binary coded decimal, then you set it to 0 and then you elapse it. You increase the minutes by 1. And then if that's greater than 9, then you set it to 0 and then you put the 1. So a lot of stuff. A lot of things to consider. But anyway, the reason why that's relevant is if I want to calculate the total time that a user has spent solving all the puzzles, I've stored the times as binary coded decimal, so I need to do addition on them. I could either do that, I could try to convert them from this form to just regular binary form and then add them all up, and then at the very end I could do some divisions. I know Game Boy doesn't have divisions, but I could do iterative subtraction to get the number of hours and minutes. There's two options. The Game Boy doesn't have an operation that will turn this thing back into the representative binary digit. So that stuff would need to be implemented manually. Makes me wonder if anyone has already written a library that leverages the assembly instruction. So actually the library does have some support for it, but it only supports them for very large numbers. It supports them for int 32, which is not optimal because the Game Boy is not natively a 32-bit system. So it has to do like a bunch of like slow logic to add these two values. And personally, I'm like, well, I only need 16-bit integers in case of overflow for hours specifically. Am I gonna have support for speedrunning? What kind of support specifically? Because people are doing it. People are already doing it. People are solving these in 55 seconds. They're obviously just copying solved puzzles already. Look at these people. What if I literally just cheated? What if I hacked the game and solved every puzzle in 1 second? I can't do that, I'd get banned. Like a steel beam or some bricks speed running? How would that help them though? How would they be helped by this? Is there a thing that shows how many people are playing the game right now? Like, it only shows the 10 most recent people, but like, what if there's like 50 people playing and I just don't know? It'd be nice to know. What if there's like 1 billion people playing right now? Trillions of people. Get all these people and their times and their puzzles completed. Put that in my to-do color schemes. Okay, we're gonna maybe for the last half hour of the stream, I will try to make progress on calculating how long it took someone to solve all puzzles. Now I don't have the assembly code committed, but I do have it on my other computer. So let me just copy that over, perhaps. What's it called? TaskBot. What if they did arbitrary code execution in my game? They could do that. Like, hey, we found out that if you pause the menu, specifically hovered above this thing, you keep unpausing it, and you have frame perfect input, you can write arbitrary data into the memory, and then you can execute arbitrary code. You can do that. Someone could find a remote code execution, arbitrary code execution in Walfie's Nonograms. It's possible. You're like, whoa, we remade Super Mario Super Mario Land in Walfie's Nonograms by simply arbitrarily injecting code into ROM. They could do it. Could totally do it. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh, right, I was copying the binary over. Here's the binary. Sorry, the assembly. Look at this. Look at this assembly. Does anyone know about calling conventions from C code into binary? Apparently, they have various calling conventions. Let me check the documentation. So let's say you have a function that takes 2 arguments. Welcome Eidolon and Dimion. I'm not a coder. I mean, I feel like most coders don't even know this. So now you know. Now you're gonna know. If you have a function that accepts 2 arguments, for example, there's a specific way that it passes the arguments via assembly, right? Calling convention. This is probably interesting to like very few people, but I'm going to explain it anyway because I have nothing else to do. Let's see, Z80, was it Z80? It was SM83, right? SM83 calling convention. So look at this. Our argument has 2 parameters. One of them is a 16-bit, one of them is 8-bit. So you look at the rules and it's like, okay, look at this. Calling convention, if it returns a 16-bit value, your function has to put the value into the BC register. So the way that these registers work on the Game Boy, registers are by default 8-bit values, but they do have combined registers that will concatenate the values together to make a 16-bit value. So you could write to B or you could write to C. Writing to B will adjust the value of BC, same thing for C. So then to return a value from this function, you gotta set a value in the BC register. So I do that here. I load a value into B and a value into C. So this sets the value. As far as how to receive arguments, you can consult this very confusing graph. Oh, look at this. You can read the thing. If they don't have variable arguments, if your first parameter is an 8-bit value, it gets passed in the A register. But mine is the second. My second argument is the 8-bit value, so it doesn't apply. If it has 16-bit, it's passed in DE, right? So now we know DE has our value. E is the lower bit, D is the upper bit. And then you just do your operations and then whatever stuff, right? Then you check the other rules anyway. Now you know. I've done some programming, mostly Lua, some scripting stuff. I think thankfully in Lua you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Alright, where do I have this saved at? This is saved in bcd.s. Source bcd.s. As you all know, S stands for assembly, obviously. And then we have the associated header file, which looks like this. Yeah, it's assembly. And then the code that I had for testing this, I had some test code that I was writing. It is in Oh, I need to add it to the globs. Everyone, you all remember the globs. Got to be in build.bazel. And currently, I'm globbing every C file, so we got to add the S files there. All the assembly files. And then I need to change a few other things, I think. Rules.bazel. I have my own custom Bazel rules for this stuff. Normally you don't have to deal with any of this stuff, but since I felt like having a complex build system, I've decided to add this. Link executable. Link executable. So you need to add a thing here for assembling. I think it was just .assemble. You need to tell the assembler to use this program when you're trying to build an S file. I don't know, part of me wants to learn, check some hex stuff for Pico 8. Something I'll wrap my head around eventually, or ROM stuff like this. Do you have to use, what are you using checksum stuff for Pico 8 for? What is that used for? What is the use case? Okay, so now we have this here. This is right here. And then I have this stuff here. Update window. Let's just do update window. It's here. Wait, it's not update window. What function am I updating? This one is update levels completed text. So I had something here for this. I was simply testing whether addition worked. If I try to run this. Alright, I need to include the header file. Right. I probably could have just committed it and pulled it from here, but whatever. So now if you start the game, look at that, we got some values written. We can do addition, guys, we can do addition. I've implemented addition of binary coded decimals. So you'll notice here we have 59 plus 45, and as you all know, that is this. That's math right there. That the value carries over, and that's there. Right? If we had, you're like, but Walfie, how is this useful? Well, what if you had a time that was like 99 minutes and 59 seconds, and you added 45 to it? Well, that's obviously going to overflow, so this is not going to work, right? That's not going to work. But if you simply were to deal with the seconds and minutes separately, then it would work. Then you would have this, and then you would check whether this digit is a 1. Wait, how do I open this? And then if it is a 1, you can subtract 1 and add a 1 to the other stuff. Anyway, that is some logic. And now I simply have to iterate through every level and try to figure out how to get that value presented. Now, what's a good way to do it? What is the best way to do this? We have a function. It's called. Wait, let me just copy what I have. Title.c. We have a function called calculate total time elapsed, which is here. Alright, so we have seconds, minutes, hours, and this will be a uint 16. So we enable RAM so that we can load the current times that the user has elapsed on their puzzle. And if I take this, if I put this in here, then what? Then, okay, so if the solve time is greater than 0, it means you have solved the puzzle. And then I could take elapsed pointer, I could take the BCD dot seconds. I can then add the seconds together with the total time. So let's see, we have seconds BCD equals BCD and byte. So we take the current value that we've accumulated and then add this thing to it. And then what? And then if seconds BCD is greater than, if it has wrapped around, so this would be, for example, if you had 59 seconds, right? If you add 59 seconds to 59 seconds, you would have 118 seconds. So it would be this, right? You would have 118, so you need to subtract 100. And by 100, I mean this. Then you need to do minutes BCD plus equals 1. And then you need to add the same thing, minutes BCD minutes. And then if minutes BCD is greater than, I guess this one should be a while, right? While, because it could overlap. If you add 99.59 to 99.59, this thing would, I guess this thing would then overlap. Actually, this would, maybe it would be fun. It would be what's the sum of this? I guess it wouldn't be 4 digits. It would be definitely less than 200. Guaranteed. So you only really need to subtract, I guess you need to subtract 20. We need to do division by 60 actually. So it could overlap. If you add 90 minutes to 90 minutes, you get 180, which is in fact much longer. This is in fact 3 hours. So you need to make sure that your minute is less than 60. So while this thing is less than, well, it's greater than 60. Greater than or equal to. I guess this one should also be greater than or equal to. If it's greater than or equal to, then you do hours BCD plus equals 1. Seconds BCD minus equals. Same thing for this. So minutes, subtract that, and then you need to correct hours BCD and bytes. Hours BCD, I guess you're adding 0. This thing will simply correct the digits if it's wrong. Alright, now that you have that though, what if we try to see what that looks like? Text So I have this hours, and then minutes and seconds. And we have VCD, hours VCD, minutes, and seconds. I think this will have some leading zeros, but you can see what it looks like. Oops, what did I do? What have I changed? Unidentified integer hello, right, because I renamed hello to text. Okay, so it turns out nothing is being shown because I'm not calling this, right? I have not called this function anywhere. So if I do title init and then right before fading in, we calculate total time elapsed. Then what? Whoa, look, I've spent 0 minutes. Okay, but then if I solve a puzzle, it should theoretically add to it. Perhaps. What is this one? Cat? What is this? Some kind of cat? Okay, so now it should say 11 seconds. And it does, guys. It says 11 seconds. Okay, and then I solve another one. What is this one? This one is a house. It should say 17 seconds. What? 28 seconds? Hold on. Okay, so I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? Why is that 28? Well, now it's 45? Oh, I'm not clearing it. Maybe I'm not clearing it somewhere. Okay, so calculate total time elapsed. Oh, right. We need to, oh, no, we need to set this specifically to 0 seconds. Because it's a static variable. There's no reason this needs to be static, but I think it's more, what's the word? It's more efficient. If you're going to be accessing this variable a lot of times in loops, if it is static, it no longer needs to be on the stack. Okay, so 17, that's correct. And then you got this one. And now it should be, now it's 25. Which seems to me correct. Now we need to wrap around. What if we spent a minute? Yes, that's what I was also going to check this. I was going to set this to a very long time and then check that it goes back down. What is this? This is an umbrella. Okay, so it is 2 minutes. 2 minutes 72. Hold on. 2 minutes. Oh, this should be oh, this should be if it's greater than 60. I should subtract 60. Right. 60 rather than 100. That's true. That is true. I guess if you add 2 values that are below 60, it would not go above 120. So I only really need to do this once. It just needs to be an if. Okay, now it's 3 minutes and 12 seconds, which I assume is correct, given that this is that correct? That's probably correct. And then if I solve this faster, it should be a smaller time. Yes, okay. So that's good. I know some people might be like, well, what if I wanted it to be my total elapsed time? Well, I don't have that. I don't have that information. So it's only going to be sum of bests. Okay, so now I need to have it not show the extra digits. I will also have it only show up once you go into the save data directory. I also need it to not overlap the version number. And so I don't have space to show it down here. So I will simply show it up there. Unless there's a way for me to shorten this. Instead of puzzles completed, what would I say? Completion, and then I showed the timer next to it. I guess puzzles completed is fine. Yeah, whatever. I think it's fine for me to show it up here, right? It's probably fine. It actually gets computed faster than I thought. Well, it does add a little bit of load time, so maybe I will only calculate it once you go into the save data option. Just to save on some extra milliseconds. Because like while it's fast now, maybe once you solve more puzzles, it'll take incrementally longer. Like if I did this on my other emulator, where I've solved many puzzles, this one might be kind of slow. Actually, that's faster than I thought. 392 hours, 7B7 seconds. Okay, there's obviously something is wrong there. Obviously, I've not spent 7B7 seconds. I guess this one might have to be a while. Okay, the minutes. Alright, what does this look like here? 1A minutes? What is that? Hold on. Minutes, if minutes is greater than this. Doesn't the timer sometimes say 99.99? Yes. Yes. It does. Hours BCD. Minutes BCD. We're adding the minutes. That might affect the light. No, it's handled. The DAA instruction, I believe, handles that case. So, like, if we did, for example, I wish I had the code from before. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it handles it. But I did something wrong. I also think none of my levels. Wait, these are all 99.59. Why are these all 99.59? Did I do something? Minutes and BCD. These were not previously all. Oh wait, no, I think they were. I think I like hacked it when I was testing this. I did. Yeah, I definitely didn't beat all these on stream. I think I wrote some code that checks. I guess this is a good case to check. If someone took somehow the max amount of time on every puzzle, it would be about this long. Now, why is it 1A though? I thought this would have accounted for this. BCD and byte. I guess if we're... Oh wait, if we're subtracting... Oh, subtraction doesn't work. It wouldn't work like that. I would need to implement BCD subtraction. It's like if you subtract this, it's not really gonna work necessarily. I think I might need to do BCD instead of BCD and byte. What if I just did this for now, and then later it could be improved. But this will simply correct the subtracted value. Oh, but now it takes so much longer. It takes so long now. What have I done? What have I done? Alright, so obviously it appears that it might be in an infinite loop somewhere. So we're setting BCD, subtract it. I guess this will never finish. Maybe subtraction doesn't work. Okay, what about this? Nope. Okay. Well, this doesn't work. How do I make this work? How shall I fix this? Now, one option is I could convert the BCD values into actual integer values. And then adding them is very simple. I could just convert them all to seconds and then add up all the seconds. And then at the very end, I could do a few inefficient divisions, or I guess a few inefficient subtractions. And then convert that to BCD. But then to convert a BCD value to an integer, what would I need to do? I guess it would be simple for the lesser digit, the least significant digit. But then the most significant digit, I would need to multiply that by 10, which is not really a thing that you can very easily do on the Game Boy. I guess we only have 10 possible values for each digit. So I could just store like a reference. It could be like 0, an array that's like index 0 would be 0, this would be 10, this would be 20. Pre-computing my multiplications by 10. And then I just simply like access the offset in the array to add, determine what number to add. I guess I could do that, that's possible. You know, maybe I will do it. Maybe that's easier than simply doing all this stuff. So let's see, let me comment this stuff out. And then I did this. Alright, so we have a thing in here, so we can get rid of this stuff. So we need a function for converting a BCD value to an integer. So it's going to be 16. I guess the max value that we would be adding is 2 digits. So UN8 is fine. BCD to int value. Sorry, I was trying to write in a different language. It's going to be a uint8t value. And what we're going to do here is, so you take the least significant, so we have a mask right here, 0xff. 0xf gives you the least significant. So value, and this, the return value is going to be this. And then you simply add, let's see, value and 0xf0. And then you shift it over by 4. Then you need to have a mapping of, where do I define arrays? What am I thinking of? An array of simply 0, 10, 20. Good old lookup table. I'm gonna do it this way. We're gonna do, here's what we're gonna do. Good old Vim. Damn. Okay, and then you have a const array, a const static const multiply by 10 is going to be a t multiplied by 10 is an array of 10 things, multiply by 10. And then here what you gotta do, multiply by 10, you take the value, out plus equals this thing, and then we have out, return out. Okay. That should be it. If somehow the value is greater than 10, it would have undefined behavior, so I should maybe ensure that I have 16 values in here, simply to account for the possibility of something messing up. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright. Okay, so then BCD to int. So we're gonna calculate the seconds. Although then I guess I would need but I need the same thing to convert minutes to seconds. I need to do a similar multiplication of each of these. But then those will need to multiply by 60. I would need to convert this and then multiply by 60. Oh, this is going to be complicated. I guess I'll do this off stream. Right. It is not simply this. It's not shrimply this. Actually, I guess I could keep the minutes separate and then, no, yeah, that's true. I could simply not convert everything to seconds. I could add up all the seconds and then add up all the minutes and then convert the extraneous seconds into and then add that to the minutes. And then after I have all the minutes, then I could find out, I could divide them to get the number of hours. There's some stuff I could do. It would be so easy. Alright, so we're gonna do elapsed pointer bcd.seconds. We're gonna have this instead of being minutes bcd, it's just gonna be minutes. So bcd to int seconds plus equals, and then minutes plus equals, and then after you've calculated all of them, while seconds greater than 60, greater than equal to 60, seconds minus equals 60, minutes plus equals 1, and then while minutes greater than 60, minutes minus equals 60, hours plus equals 1, and then I just need one thing to convert hours BCD to minutes BCD. And I guess I will use my BCD add byte to add 0. It's not the best way to do it, but given what I have right now, I think it's fine. Alright, so we're gonna have hours at 0, minutes, seconds. Alright, question is, does this work? 154 token. Error to oh, you gotta, it's kind of weird that you initialize arrays like this. Why is that? Alright, 154 hours, 35. That seems correct. Does anyone know if you add up 99 minutes times 150? What is that? I guess it would just be 99, 99 times 150 divided by 60. $270. Wait, it's wrong. I guess. Oh wait, not all of them. Not all of them are 99.59 though. Maybe like two of them. Two of them. So it'd be 140. 148. 242. This is way off. Hold on. Desmos.com/calculator. No way. Well, I guess I figured this out off stream. I would have thought that my logic made sense, but maybe I have some issues. Let me check if it works for this one though. The one that has fewer levels. So 23 seconds. AI generate. No, this is a real calculator. This one you type in your own real calculator value. The other one was AI generated. 8 plus 11 plus 6 plus 4. That's 29, and this one is in fact, that's 23. What the frick? What did I do? what is this? Obviously something is wrong here, and I will figure it out off stream. Okay. Git checkout minus B time. What do I call this branch? Sum of best time. Whip. What the Walfie, you can just push a commit that has a work in progress. Shouldn't every commit be an atomic commit that can compile? No. Get out of here. This is I push my branch so I can pull it somewhere else. Anyway, that's it. Let's find out what date is. Let's rate someone. Anyway, we did fix one bug today. We did fix the bug where you spam the answer button, start button. Oh, Twitch is showing ads right as I'm just about to rate someone right now. Squash later. Yeah, I'm not merging this stuff. Anyway, what day is it? Crab stuffed flounder thumb appreciation day. Ramadan begins. Pluto day. Cow milk while flying in an airplane day. What is that? Losar loser. Battery day. Pluto day. I guess we could. Does anyone want to do cow milk while flying in an airplane day raid? It's up to you guys. You choose the raid messenger. It's up to you. You can choose now. Alright, who do I raid? Who is streaming today? Whoa, is someone streaming Walfie's Nonogram? Whoa, is Walfie's? Walfie's is streaming Walfie's Nonograms? No way. I will send you to someone. And who is that someone? Well, perhaps, maybe, what about this? What about this person? What about this person? Trade. Kill. Anyway, that's gonna be it. I should be back on Friday with something. Now, what is it specifically? I don't know. Maybe more of this stuff. Maybe I'll play Walfie's Nonograms, assuming I've released a new patch version, perhaps. Maybe something else. I don't know, but that's it. That's all. Tune in next time if you want. You don't have to. You could also choose not to tune in. You could be like, ah, man, this again. I'm gonna go watch someone else. I'm gonna go watch a different streamer. That's also valid. Anyway, now I wait for the raid to go. Now I simply sit here and I wait for several seconds. And eventually that raid's gonna go. And then you'll be like, whoa, I'm in a different stream now. But this isn't the Walfie stream, this is a different streamer who's doing something else. No way. And that's it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.